All right, you keep hearing people say you need to spend $5 a day on paid ads, or you need to spend $100 a day, or even $1,000 a day, and there really is no clarity on what the actual daily budget you should be spending is. So what is the real number?
Psych! That's the wrong number!
And the answer that I'm going to tell you that you don't want to hear is that it depends, but I'm going to give you a great starting point as a paid ads expert who has spent 5,000 hours, millions of dollars in budget doing this, and what my approach would be if you were just getting started with your first paid ad campaign. So even though it depends, I am going to give you a number, which is a starting point. Now this can be industry specific, and this isn't going to work with every single business out there, but this is a really solid starting point, and that to me is $50 per day. So it's about $1,500 per month in budget. That's where I want you to start, but there are some necessary prerequisites that you need to check off as a brand before you even start spending your first $50 a day. All right, first prerequisite, do not run paid ads until you've proven your offer organically. For an e-com brand, to me, that would be about $15,000 a month in organic sales. It would be different if you're a local service business. So consider this for yourself. Are you already getting organic traction with the word of mouth marketing that you're doing, with the referrals that you're getting, with your organic social media content or your SEO content? How are sales right now, and is your offer aligned with what the market is looking for? And if your offer sucks with your warm audience through all the channels that I had just mentioned, it's gonna suck with your cold audience too when you try to run paid ads. So something that I'll find is that a lot of businesses will test paid ads too early on before they've proven the concept, before they've built a great offer and have product market fit. The reason that you should wait is because if you test too early, you may have a failed experiment with paid ads, and which will give you a bad taste in your mouth about paid ads, which will keep you hesitant from ever doing it. So I don't want you to artificially limit the growth of your business because you had a bad experience running paid ads before you actually proved your offer. Okay, so depending on the type of business that you are, whether you're a small e-commerce brand or a small local business, I recommend starting with different platforms. If you're an e-com brand, I'd recommend starting with Meta or TikTok. E-com products are obviously more visual. Meta and TikTok, the most visual platforms. The reason that I recommend Meta first, because we don't know what's gonna happen with TikTok right now. For local businesses, recommendation is Google or Meta, both really good platforms for advertising a local service. The reason I recommend Google is because Google has what is called local service ads, or LSAs, which are a really good starting point for small businesses locally. But one thing to caveat this with, you do have to have your GMB, your Google My Business profile, in place first. So this is where I would start. You're a small e-com brand, start with Meta. Small local business, start with. Okay, so why do I recommend $50 a day? Number one is for statistical significance. You'll actually know if it worked or if it didn't work, that you put enough budget behind it to confirm that outcome. Budget to test with. You have the ability to do A/B tests if you want to A/B test creatives or A/B test different headlines, different landing pages. Using $50 a day gives you the ability to do that with some confidence. Number three, it's not going to break the bank. I'll caveat that with, for most businesses, $1,500 a month is $50 a day. For most businesses, that's not going to break the bank, and I want you to look at it as an investment in future performance, not necessarily what's going on right now or immediately. And the last thing is platform optimization. So for example, Google Ads typically operates the best if it has 30 conversions in a 30-day period, because Google uses that data and its AI to learn your audience and push your ad out to people who are likely to purchase based on the prior conversion data. So the more data, the better. And typically spend is correlated with more data, and more data is correlated with better performance, as long as your offer is good first and foremost. Okay, how long do I want you to run this for? 2 months. Bare minimum spend, $3,000. Sounds daunting. $50 a day times 60 days in 2 months, that's your $3,000 total budget. I want you to look at this as an investment in future performance. And I know it's easy for me to say this because it isn't my money, but knowing how these platforms work, that first 30 days is going to be kind of the data gathering phase. The learning phase, so to speak, is kind of how Google would put it. Not gonna get too in the weeds on exactly what that means, but you need that second month because the data has been established. Now you'll be able to really know if your campaign is performing well or not. And it's also a budget. $3,000 is the budget that a brand could manage themselves. And now I wouldn't recommend managing this budget for the long term, because as ad spend increases, if performance increases, I would recommend increasing spend. If it's working. You obviously want to fuel the fire more. But as you start to increase spend, build out different types of campaigns, do more testing, that's when the real need for someone to manage it, an expert to manage it and scale it, is essential. But running at $3,000 for a month or 2 months, $1,500 a month, you could probably manage this yourself if you want to get it set up correctly, check in on it every so often. You don't have to be in the platform every single day, but definitely something you can manage yourself, which might make it more cost effective for you initially. All right, here's how to do this to avoid wasted spend, to scale up profitably, and to actually get reliable data. First thing, like I said, most important thing, make sure your offer is strong organically. If your warm audience doesn't like your offer, a cold audience isn't going to either. So first thing, strong offer. Next, enough budget for a statistically significant test, which would be $3,000 total. And how long do you want to test this for? $50 a day times 2 months or 60 days to get that $3,000. We're testing it for, like I said, 2 months. This is the way I would set it up and how I would go about it if I were running my first paid ads campaign, either as a small e-com brand, a local business, someone just getting started with Google Ads. Start with $50. Now, if you want to learn more about scaling paid ads campaigns beyond just this initial starting point, I would highly recommend subscribing to this channel. I post content about paid ads, whether it be Meta, Google, TikTok, Amazon, etc. And I post on my company page on LinkedIn as well. So if you're on LinkedIn, go follow Sulka Search on LinkedIn to check out more content like this. Thank you for your time. Go get after it.